Hello, stupid.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tell Me Like I'm Stupid, a podcast where Tom and I deep dive into different topics each week and explain them to you.
That's right, Saniya. It's our first episode this week. I'm very excited. I'm excited for our concept also. I think we're going to have a lot of fun talking to each other about the random corners of our weird brains.
Exactly. So let's get into this with the only way I know to start us off by starting an icebreaker. You ready?
I like that. Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Like good old classroom styled icebreakers. So, please tell us your name and 3 words you'd use to describe yourself.
Oh my God. Okay. I just remembered what I hate about icebreakers is when like I'm the first one and then I'll have time to like think. But I guess this is always going to be the case if it's only the two of us.
Just
Um,
dive in now.
Diving in. All right. I'm Tama, and I would use to describe myself chaotic, kind,
True.
and clumsy.
Perfect. All K sounded words or C words.
Yeah.
Close.
Co-words.
Yeah, co words.
Um,
Cunt.
all right. How about
That just came
you jump
naturally.
right in and tell me your name and 3 words.
Okay, let's do this. I'm Sanya. I think the 3 words I'd use to describe myself is emotional, expressive, and empathetic.
Oh, you chose 3 E's as well. Look at that.
It just came to me. It wasn't meant to do that, but it just came to me.
Perfect. Great. I love
I
it.
could have said erratic too to go with your chaotic.
I would have, if I were you, I would have done erratic.
I think erratic more than like empathetic. Well, I am empathetic, but
Sure. Yeah. Emotional, we both agree on. I think that works.
right? Emotional, yeah. We're all Pisces. We're both Pisces, I guess.
Yeah. And
Um,
are we strangers?
are we? I'm kidding. I guess we're friends.
I guess we're
Coworkers
friends.
turn friends.
Yeah. Coworkers turn really good friends, but terrible coworkers.
And I guess trying to go into this like little business partnership.
Right. I guess we're becoming like coworkers again, and like we're gonna work very intimately together. I don't like that word. I don't know why I said that. We're gonna work very closely together again. Moving on. Yes.
Co-host.
Co-hosting. There we go.
And I feel like sticking to like the introduction theme, it's just like my millennial self goes to back in Omegle and chat roulette days where you like message the person and you just go, hi, ASL.
So did you chat roulette a lot?
Like not a lot, but like it is something like I did with friends like at like sleepovers. Like I would never be then like on there alone. I wasn't that person.
Right. Right. Because people are now back on their lawn, and I don't know if like it just came back or people just never stopped.
I think people never stopped,
Really?
which is crazy. And I think majority of people are on there alone. But I think like for us, it was like a fun sleepover activity, you know?
Yeah. So you explained before we started recording what ASL you said?
ASL,
What it standed for? Because I wasn't familiar with that. But
American Sign Language. Kidding.
oh yeah. What is it? Age, sex, language,
No, age, sex, location.
location. Oh okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So
What's
I
your
was telling you like
ASL?
on my ASL. So 33.
Question mark?
Yeah, I had to think about that one a bit. Cis men in Montreal,
Ooh, Montreal, Canada.
Montreal, Canada. All right, what's your ASL?
28, female, and then I'll say Vancouver. But
Yeah.
it's like a suburb of Vancouver. Lower Mainland, South Surrey, White Rock.
Yeah, you don't need to give like the exact
I'll
address.
give
You
you
can
my
give like an
address.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Postal code.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I was not familiar with ASL as an acronym because I think I was mostly on like MSN and I also used to chat in French back then. So we probably used something different, but it made me think of on Grinder we used to ask for stats, people's stats, and it was similar but worse. It was like age, then wait, what was in stats? Age, height, weight,
That is so invasive.
and then size of your dick, and then if it was cut or uncut.
No.
Yeah, you had to answer like all those numbers in a small line, and like some people
That
were
is so
would start
invasive.
conversations like
Okay,
that.
but like,
It's freaking wild.
what would you feel like if like you say like someone sends stats to you, so you give them your full stats, like being all vulnerable and stuff, but then they didn't give it back to you?
Well, I mean, that would be them rejecting you based on your stats, and that
Or like what if
happens
they gave
a
like
lot.
or what if you ask for stats and it's like they give you like height and then like not weight, Is that like what are they hiding?
Well, I'm kind of. I don't know. Like, I don't remember much. Like, people don't do that much anymore. Or like, I
Mm.
think it happened to me once in the last like few years. It's just like I was like, absolutely not. That's gross. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's because there was a specific order. I don't remember the order so much, but it was a specific order to read it in also. So if you didn't give one, then the person would assume that what you're giving next is the one you skipped, right?
Oh, interesting. I wonder if people just like had it on their notes and they would just copy and paste it each
Oh,
time.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Right? That's so crazy.
Isn't it wild?
Such a wild world
Anyways,
out there.
that took a turn.
All right. Well,
Um,
I guess we can start with our first deep dive, right?
yes, first episode, first deep dive. Let's get into it. All right. So I'm going to start this week. And for what I picked for you, for the first episode, I wanted something like that would speak to you personally, right? Something that would make you feel seen and implicated, that you could like really relate to, like something that really hits close to home, right? So I thought, you know what? We could talk about why everybody hates your car.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because I know that you love thinking about all the reasons why everyone might hate you.
It's like those things that when people ask me what I drive, I like bring it up, but then I also like make fun of it before anyone else can because I'm so insecure about it.
So, for context for everyone listening, what do you drive?
I drive a Kia Soul. Yes, that cube shaped car, but it's not the cube.
It's not the Cube. Oh, is there different?
There's an actual cube car.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that's called the Cube.
I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I can't I don't know what brand it is, but it's the cube, yeah.
Right, right, right.
But like when
But
people
no,
are like,
you're.
"What's a Kia Soul again?" When I tell them, and I'm like, "Oh, it's the one that looks like a cube," but it's not. But just as lame.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll get into it in a short moment, but I actually love the Kia Soul, but um, everyone else hates it. How long have you been driving it for?
I think about yeah, it's gonna be 2 years in December.
2 years. Is it the
Yeah.
first time you purchased a car for yourself by yourself?
No,
No.
no. Well, I purchased a car when I was in university, Hyundai Elantra, and then I sold it before moving to Vancouver.
Right, right, right.
Mhm.
And what what made you choose the Kia Soul?
Oh my god. Okay, so basically, um, I used to drive my husband's car, and he has like a VW hatchback, and it was great. And he had a work car. He had a Jeep from work, and like we figured it out. And then he was leaving that position, so he was giving his Jeep up. And then I was like, we need another car, but we couldn't afford a big car, and we already had a hatchback, so we wanted a bigger car than a hatchback. But like, yeah, we couldn't afford it, and like all I could see was Kia Souls for some reason when I was searching, and I was like, why not? But are people gonna make fun of me? But and I always wanted a
Oh,
Jeep.
wait, wait. So were you actually aware when you were searching for it of the reputation it had already?
Yeah. Like, I laughed about it. I was like and I think at first my husband showed it to me, and I was like, "No way am I driving that."
Mm.
And then but then he did talk it up to me, like, mine is fully loaded and stuff like that. And I wanted a Jeep, and it's kinda Jeeps are square shaped.
I mean, I think saying they're the same would be a reach, but like I mean, I get it. I around that time I was searching to buy my first car myself. And by the way, I hate shopping for cars. Like I find it so stressful, so overwhelming. I know nothing about car, and all of a sudden you need to be a pro because it's all these terms that I go, ugh, it was
I
absolutely annoying.
agree.
But one thing that came up often is how reliable and how a good car the Kia Soul was. And I was like, well, this seems like a reasonably priced new car and like it felt good, right? But then I ended up buying like a 2010 Golf from a friend that broke down almost immediately.
It's so funny because I do remember us bonding over like, we just started becoming coworkers at that point. I was
Right.
telling you I'm car shopping, and I remember you're like, "Oh, what are you thinking?" I was like, "Oh, Kia Soul," and you were like, "Oh, I love that car," and I'd never gotten that reaction, and I was so blown away. I was like, "Oh, okay," and I was like, "Maybe he feels bad for me," like,
No, to be fair, it was also one of the only car names I knew. So I was like, I recognize this car.
that's so funny.
Yeah. um, so yeah, I guess yeah, I wanted to see exactly because I was made aware of the hate for the Kia Soul after you got yours actually, because then I would talk about how I wanted your car to people, and people were like, "You no, what? Why?" But
Oh my
I
god.
wanted to deeper into to why, right? And also to like, is it true? Like, do people actually all hate your car? So, I started to write some little research. I'd like to invite you to pull out your phone,
Okay.
and go on Instagram, and I'm gonna make you tell us about this.
Oh, no. It's like a meme page full of how much people hate Kia Souls, isn't it?
So look up the Kia Soul underscore hate clan.
No. Also, what was that noise? I just made my cat, like, freaked out. She looked at me.
Oh no, tequila.
Sorry, Kia Soul Hate Clan?
Yeah, underscore hate clan.
And you follow it.
Of course, I follow it. I had to do the research.
And another girl I know follows it. Oh, I'm unfollowing
Really?
her.
Right. All right. So tell us how many followers on the Kia Soul hate clan currently?
Oh my god, 175K.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Oh
Um,
my god.
you want to look at some of the. Oh, shoot. I'm doing something and something's ringing. Sorry. Okay. Never mind. I touched my headphones and something started ringing like I was calling someone, but I guess we're
Oh.
good. Okay. So if you want to look at like the memes quickly, can you like describe a little bit what kind of memes they have on there?
Stop. First of all, there's a girl, this beautiful blonde girl, but she has merch that says "Hot girls hate Kia Soul."
Yes.
I am buying myself one of those and then wearing that every time I drive my car. They also have merch that says "Bad bitches hate Kia Soul." This
Yeah.
is insane.
So
Then there's
I think
cars burning.
a lot of car burnings, a lot of Kias getting into accident, flipping over, and like they seem to make the Kia responsible, right?
It
So
does have high rollover effect or
does it?
warning on
Does
it.
it?
It literally says that on like my what is that thing called? Like the sun shield?
The
Sun
sun shield, yeah.
sunshade thing. It says high rollover thing.
That's interesting. That's funny. Because like, yeah, I guess that's one thing that you would want it to be more aerodynamic for. But anyway, so I found this first, right? And then I also found an interview with the owner of the account. I'll refer to them as the owner of the account because I don't know their name or anything, but I have a feeling that it's the blonde girl posing in some of the pictures.
Mhm.
So they said they started the account in January 2023, so earlier this year, and it kind of blew up over the spring to what it is now, which is 175,000 followers, which is like a very short amount. Like people really, really liked this account. Um, they started doing merch, as you saw. So I think you saw some on the Instagram page, but I have a few more examples on our drive if you want to look at them.
Okay, let's get in there. Oh my god, yeah. Honk if you hate kissels. I feel like just for to be ironic, I should get all of this
It would
merch.
be really funny. I would
That
love it,
was
especially
yes.
like bitches hate Kia Soul. Then they have one of a Kia like with some hentai characters. Like it's just very weird. And like I don't think it's meant to be like good merch either. It's just meant to to kind of
Mhm.
like take a jab at Kia all the time, right?
That's so
Um
funny.
so yeah, they started creating a lot of content. They started selling merch. They started doing like they even have a like a GoFundMe, which is not very successful to be honest, but it's a GoFundMe so that they can buy a Kia Soul to make more content.
Oh my god. Yeah, like I found her Instagram now too. She's called Kia Soul Girl. She doesn't drive one, but she's like obsessed with hating on them and now wants to buy one. I don't understand this.
Obsessed with hating on it. So in the interview, she did say that she doesn't take it very seriously, but she just got a lot of traction, so she just keeps um, doing it. Um, they're also organizing like a car meet soon at like a auto club for people who I guess hate Kia Soul, for them to get together and talk about how much they hate the Kia Soul.
At a Kia Soul dealership, I'm guessing.
Can you imagine? But it's like so. Like I said, I read an interview with her, um, but what wasn't really clear on the social media and on the interview is why she hates the Kia Soul. She couldn't really answer that question. She just says like, I don't know, I just never liked that car, right? But it feels very passionate for something that you just don't care about,
Yeah.
right? Um, Instagram is not the only place where there was a lot of hate expressed for the Kia Soul. Um, Twitter had a big wave of hate on 2021. And I have a few tweets to read to you here. So by oh hey it's Duya, Kia Soul owners are evidence that we need a to bring back bullying.
Oh my god. That's so funny.
And this one by Anessa Ray. As if I didn't have enough disdain for my father already, he now drives a Kia Soul.
That's so funny.
By Tiff O'Snap. Thinking you found a parking spot, and then boom, Kia fucking Soul.
Kia fucking Soul.
There's a lot of reference to that, actually, how I guess they're short, and so you
Yeah.
see them sticking out in parking lots, but then you
Oh
turn it
yeah.
in and then you're in there. So is that something you're aware of when you're parking, that how much?
Totally. Literally this morning, I was gone for 4 days, coming back looking for my car in my work parking lot and never can find it because it doesn't have butt, like it doesn't have an ass, like so like
Yeah.
you look for the butt of the car and I can never find it and and like somehow it's always behind like a pickup truck or something.
Yeah. This one by DHC Mods. 9 out of 10 people are taller than Kia Soul, which I guess it's a short car.
I don't even know if I'm taller than my car and I'm a tall person.
You are a tall person.
I'm gonna check this out, fact check
Yeah.
it, report back.
And finally, Rave Rave Uncle. If you drive a Kia Soul, why do you hate yourself?
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, the list is long. Yeah, well, there was many more. There's also a trend on TikTok that I'll circle back to later because I think I want to finish on that note. But so on social media, Kia Souls are getting a lot of hate.
Oh
Um,
my god.
How are you feeling so far?
Okay, I do
How's
wanna
this
tell
sinking in?
everyone listening, now that you've heard a whole or you're gonna hear a whole episode about Kia Souls, you will not stop seeing them everywhere. Like,
Oh, that's
even,
so
like,
true.
when it was first mentioned to me when I was car shopping, and then since then, I just always see a Kia Soul, and they're always this, like, grayish green color, like, that's the one I have too, or like a, like, electric blue color. They're so popular
Yeah,
lately.
they are everywhere. I notice them too, also. But again, like you said, it's because my awareness is extremely focused on them lately. It could be that, but
Wait,
yeah.
and I just wanna go back to the fact that I said they're so popular lately. They're not popular, they're just affordable lately in this economy.
Right. um. Okay. Well, one thing I forgot to ask you before is like, in your personal opinion, why do you think people hate the Kia Soul?
Um, you know, I don't know. They're okay, sure, they're not the cutest car, but, like oh, sorry, they're, like, ugly cute, like pugs, you know? They're not meant to be cute.
Yes, exactly. Oh my god, that's so right.
And, like, this is coming back to me now, and I don't know if you remember this. So when I told you that I was car shopping, and then, like, we got the car, and, like, I remember you'd be like, "Oh, I'm so happy you have Kia Soul and stuff." And at work, we were sitting at, like, the cafeteria upstairs, and do you remember we overheard a conversation of a group of table?
Oh my god, yes.
This random girl was like, "Uh, you know what I hate? Kia Souls." And I remember I was just eating, and I looked at you, and we just started dying, and then she just goes on a whole rant about Kia Souls, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I need to get out of here before she finds out I have one."
Oh my god, I forgot about that. It's true. Okay, well, now that you have the memes and the tweets I read to you, like, do you notice some sort of theme or some trend in what people seem to be complaining about?
The shape of the car?
Mm, well, what jumped out to me is that a lot of these seems to be about the drivers themselves, about people who drive Kia Soul.
Okay, I didn't feel that, but now I do. I feel targeted even more.
Well, bracing because you're about to
Oh, no.
brace yourself. So, I wanted to look like, because the memes are a lot about how people drive them. I wanted to see what was the demographics for people who drive Kia Soul. What's your instinct on this?
What's their ASL?
Yeah, what's their ASL? That's right. Stats.
Oh god.
What's your instinct on this?
Um, I think it's more female drivers.
Okay.
Um, are we gonna say a certain race? Is that what's gonna come up?
No, no, no,
I'm
no.
so taken back. I didn't
No,
even
no,
know
but a
this would be a
certain
thing.
age.
Oh my god, is it 20s?
So,
No, it's old. It's old people, isn't it?
so at the 2008 Paris Motor Show, when Kia was introducing the Kia Soul, they said that they they were targeting buyers around 18 to 35-year-old range, right? So
Okay.
that's what they announced. But they might have missed the mark on that,
Oh god.
because although their branding is pretty hip and youthful and kind of cool, the reality is that the people who buy Kia Souls are predominantly in their 50s and 60s.
Oh no.
I mean, as well as you,
Yeah.
right? So you're the outlier here.
My mom always said I was an old soul.
In fact, they're slightly older on average than Kia's usual demographics. So, in an interview, Michael Cope, the director of marketing for Kia Canada, said that, like, it's psychology, right? How much do you like being reminded of how old you are? The commercials are tapping into aspiration and how you want to see yourself.
Oh my god.
So we're going to get into the commercials in a short moment, but it appears that the Kia Soul owners are mostly boomers who are desperately holding on to youth and trying to be like groovy and cool and hip.
That's so funny. So that's what we see those like electric blue ones.
Yeah, and the very colorful ones, right?
Mhm.
So so I thought like maybe that could attribute part of the like be responsible for part of the hate that the demographic is getting, because it's kind of like an obnoxious cliche, the age-related identity crisis and all the behavior that comes with that. It's a bit cringy, and also like older people, um, whether it's deserved or not, have a reputation as drivers on the road, right?
Yeah.
But like, so that could be part of it, but it can't be all about the drivers, right? Um, why else do you think people hate your car?
I think it's the shape, like it's the rollover warning on it. I wish I knew what it's called. Like
The
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
it
I know
every
what
day, right?
barreling or whatever.
Yeah, like it
Barrel roll.
has like it literally says like,
We're
oh,
such car people.
clearly. Clearly.
um, so okay, the design is definitely part of it, but I will touch into that in a short moment.
What else? Like that's the only thing I feel like people would
Well,
hate about it.
let me show you what else. Let me show you
I'm
exactly what else.
scared.
I'm sending you two YouTube links, and I want you to watch
Okay.
them.
Okay. I'm starting with this hamster commercial black sheep Kia hamster video.
Yes.
2010 Kia Soul. Oh my god.
So I'm gonna wait for you to react to this. The faces you're making are absolutely unbelievable.
This is crazy. I am blown away. I can't believe this is real life.
Have you watched both?
No, shall I watch both?
All right, you watch the second one, please.
Oh, it's another hamster one. Ah, ah.
I love it. All right, so I think you got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Tell us, tell. Can you describe to everyone what you just watched?
Okay. This is insane. I'm blown away that this exists. So the first video was hamsters that kind of like were like Alvin and the Chipmunks. There's three of them. One of them's wearing a red sweater, and it's like a commercial about Kia Souls, and it's that song like you can get with this or you can get with that, and they're saying like you can get with this a Kia Soul or you can get with like a toaster that they're driving around or like a washing
Yeah,
machine,
yeah,
and it's a lot, and it's all hamsters. So there's like rich hamsters walking by, like look checking out the car. I think that was my favorite one, to be honest. This one's a 2013 Kia Soul, the second video. And this is like at an opera. And then a Kia Soul appears. And then they start singing
wait,
that
wait, who's
Gangnam
they?
style. Oh, sorry. So this is first like people singing opera. And then the car appears and hamsters come out. And then they start singing Gangnam style, and
Yes.
then they start dancing together, hamsters and people, like these ballet dancers.
Yeah.
And then they launch the Kia Soul into the air over the crowd,
Yeah.
which is, I cannot believe these are real Kia
So you never
commercials.
saw those before?
I've never saw those, seen those just
Yeah.
before.
I remember vaguely seeing like one of them, I think, before, but they were the Kia Soul commercials from 2009 to 2014. I think they started taking a break from hamsters around there. So
Okay.
the first one in 2009, I haven't shown you. It's literally just like real looking hamsters, like not anthropomorphic hamsters, like just real hamsters in a Kia Soul, and everyone else on the street is hamsters in like a spinning wheel. But then they went into the 2010 one, which is the first one you watch with "The Choice Is Yours" by Black Sheep, into like really pop music and rap and like hamsters with attitude, and like showing off like how cool they are. Followed by the 2010 one was the 2011 with Party Rock Anthem by
Of course.
LMFAO. Then you had the one that you watched 2013 Gangnam Style, and then they have in 2014 Applause by Lady Gaga.
Oh my god. They're really
Yeah,
trying to be well,
they're
um,
trying so hard to be cool.
okay, let's talk about the comments on the video.
Oh my god, I didn't even look at the comments. Tell me.
Okay, so this one's like, "You sell a car that looks like a toaster, then tell people it doesn't look like a toaster because 'cause they're comparing it to a
Oh my god.
toaster." And, like, literally, there's, like, comments like, "It literally looks like a toaster." And then someone's like, "Why are they comparing the Kia Soul to other Kia Souls?"
That's true. They did compare it to a toaster a lot.
But there's
Um,
this one comment where this person's like, "I finally have a flex. I drive a Kia Soul." I'm like, "Oh, good for you for seeing the positive." I'm
yeah.
more like, "I need to hide my car, make sure no one burns it."
Right. So that was my question, right? Had you seen the commercials before? Would it have affected your choice of purchase?
Um, hmm, no, like, I mean, I'm not, like, that embarrassed. I think my husband's a bit more embarrassed of my car than I am. Sometimes I'll be like, "Let's take my car when we go places," because his car takes premium too. And he'll be like, "No, it's fine." You know? He doesn't wanna step out of the Kia Soul.
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, first, I want to acknowledge that the commercials have won many, many prizes in the like auto ad world. So I guess in the industry, objectively, they're good. They
Okay.
won Best Automotive Ad for 2 years in a row, 2010, 2011 at the New York Auto Show. And then Nielsen, which is like a media analytics firms, named it the best automotive ad of the year in 2009. So the original hamster one. And then in 2010, it picked up some different awards also. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they won a lot of awards with that. And the sales did spike, right?
Okay.
But
Hamster lovers are got excited.
oh yeah, like the furry the furry demographic felt seen. um, but now personally, and if you can tell me if you agree or disagree, um, I find them very uncomfortable to watch.
I did like the first one. I'll be honest, I like the first one. It was cute, creative. The second one, I think I like the one with just the hamsters more.
Yeah, I mean, I just find, like you said, like they're trying so hard to be cool, and then especially with going with like the biggest hit song of the year every year following that, it really feels like, for me, it really resonates with the trope of like the boomer trying to be like, oh, I know what the kids like. I know, like, I'm not your regular mom. I'm a cool mom, kind of thing, right?
But like, okay, like we find it cringy now, but back in 2010, what do you think you would have thought of it? I think I would have thought it was cool back then too.
Um, I don't know if I stand by the opinion of 2010 me. So I don't know if it's relevant.
Can't comment on this.
Yeah, but I don't think I thought it was cool back then either. I
Mhm.
mean, mm, regardless, we're talking about why everybody hates it now, and that's still very much into people's memory, right?
Mhm.
Because I did find so many comments about the hamsters. Like, this one other tweet by Matt Seats. I had only I had only to wish. I don't know why. I think they just wrote that wrong. But I only have one wish: is that there's a large crowd of Kia Soul hamsters the day of my execution, and that they greet me with cries of hate.
Oh my god. You know what though? I think the hamster one, the black sheep one, was featured on SNL because a lot of captions are like or comments are like, "Hey, SNL brought me here." So like I think the hamsters kind of are more of the star than the Kiesel itself. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean?
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because they are troubling hamsters. Like they're not cartoon hamsters. They're like CGI, like human size anthropomorphic hamsters. They haunt my dreams.
Think so.
But like, so I think that plays into the whole, would you say, like not the legend, but the lore of like why people hate Kia Soul. It's part of that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So yeah, something else that is something that's possibly the most obvious reason of why people hate your car so much, and you brought it up. It was your first instinct on why that could be, is the way that it looks. Right, it looks very different. It's a very boxy car, and like boxy cars are typically very poorly received.
Mm-hmm.
Um, by the way, I like the way it looks. Like genuinely, I think that it's adorable. It looks like a little toy car for me. It looks like a little European like delivery car, or also like I don't know, like one of those like laundry cars. You know what
That's
I
so
mean?
funny. I didn't even think of that.
Right.
Well, now I keep thinking toaster.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very different from typical car designs.
Well, yeah, but
Uh,
like, like the Jeep is so popular, G Wagon's so popular. Those are boxy as well. But I think when people want boxy, they want it like boxy and like luxurious and like big, while like the Kia Soul is like boxy, but still trying to be small and cute, you know?
yeah, yeah. Um, there's a reason why the Jeep is exempt from that, and we're kind of going to touch on it a little bit also, right?
Okay.
But so I started by looking at like car designs through history, and see why like what is the trend in car design. And so the very first cars were also boxy, obviously, right? When you think about like the very first automobile design, it's like the Downton Abbey kind of like cars, like the one that looks like horse carriage, right?
Hmm.
Like very square, very boxy. But then in the 1920s and 30s, that changed with the introduction of streamlining, which was inspired by aerodynamic shapes of airplanes. A car became to incorporate like sleek, rounded lines to reduce wind resistance, basically, and to increase speed.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, that makes sense.
And then after World War II, there was a big boom in car production because the economy began to recover and more people could afford cars. So they made cars smaller, more affordable, and more efficient than the pre-war models. And they were built with new materials and technology like fiberglass bodies and larger windows. In the 1960s and 70s, cars began to feature like more futuristic design and advanced technology. Like I don't know if you ever saw those. My grandfather had a car with like a phone in the car, a telephone in the car,
No
like a
way.
corded telephone. Yeah,
No, I don't think I've ever
um,
seen that.
yeah,
I'm
and
not
like
that
all
old,
like
right? I'm kidding.
yeah, whatever. um, but again, like the emphasis on making it like futuristic and technology was very came with rounded shapes, aerodynamic, and almost like spaceship like, right? And then
Okay, I
finally,
just Googled it. That's so interesting.
did you Google telephone in the car?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was wild. Also, we could sit three in the front seat.
Because there were no seatbelts back then, right?
Well, there was seat belts, but it was three seat. I'm not that old. Come on.
Yeah, no. I've never been in a car with a phone. I can say that. Well, I guess like taxis still have like phones in the back, like in New York.
They do.
I think so.
Wild.
Or maybe I'm making that up. Sorry, guys.
And then finally, in recent years, the focus is on sustainability and eco-friendliness. So again, that comes with aerodynamic shapes for fuel efficiency,
Hmm.
right? So Boxy goes against all that.
Oh no,
For
so my car isn't friendly to the environment?
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
Let's
Boxy
burn
and
it.
I mean, I'm sure if you contact the Kia Soul Hey clan, they would happily arrange that for you.
No, please don't.
um, no, I think it's more the spirit of the shapes are to inspire those things, right? But it doesn't mean
Mhm.
necessarily because it depends where you use your car, right? Do you need your car to be that aerodynamic if you're just city driving all the time?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm always at like stoplights. I'm not going
yeah,
anywhere half the time.
exactly. There has been, however, in the more recent years, kind of a renewed interest into the retro inspired design.
Oh, okay.
So some, like Kia, going as far back as the original boxy Downton Abbey carriage shape,
Yeah,
right?
I see it.
But retro inspired design are also controversive, controversial in themselves, right? In themselves, right? So if you think about, like, can you think of any trend that is coming back that you would rather not?
Like clothing or car?
Yeah, clothing.
I'm like my trends clothing, or like are you
Clothing.
talking specifically clothing?
No, no,
Like
anything.
yeah, like low rise,
Right?
boot
Okay.
cut. Well, I like boot cut, but like low rise, no, thank you.
So I think, yeah, that's one thing that's like divisive and stuff. Like one thing that like blew my mind that I learned the other day, cassette tapes for music are doing a
Mhm.
comeback. There was a 45% sale increase this year.
That's crazy. I guess like that could be the new vinyl. Because remember, like vinyls have been in for so long; they're so popular. So
But the
like I
thing is,
guess like now
vinyl,
Gen
there's a
Zs are like, let's get cassettes.
that's the thing, right? It feels retro just for the sake of being retro, though, because vinyls have a superior sound quality.
Oh, I
Cassette
guess I
tapes
never.
don't.
True, true.
Right. So, anyways, so there's that about the shape, right? It's not following trends, and as a matter of fact, it's trying extra hard to go against trends, right?
Mhm.
So that's another reason why it might irk people. But another thing, and this is the thing that I found the most interesting, is you know, another thing that plays into how car designs are received could also be just the car industry culture itself. So I came across this really interesting article by Nicole Roach titled "How Toxic Masculinity Drives Car Culture."
Believe it.
Um,
Don't even need to hear it. I'm kidding.
right? It's an article on womeninurbanism.ca. It's very Canadian focused also, which I thought was cool. So while she covers every aspect of car culture, what she has to say on car design resonates a lot with what we're talking about with the Kia Soul. Basically, she explained that, like, the car industry is heavily male dominated industry,
Mhm.
and in the designing of the car, that has some very unexpected consequences. So I'll read you a little excerpt from her article here. Despite the data showing that men are more likely to engage in risky behaviors behind the wheel, such as speeding, driving under influence, and driving without a seatbelt, women are more likely to be seriously injured and involved in a crash.
Because the
Studies have
passenger usually like dies, you know,
no
while like
driving women.
oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So the reason, actually, the studies have found that that belted women, so women wearing seatbelt, have 73% greater odds of being hurt in frontal car crash compared to men wearing seatbelts. This is largely attributed to the way that vehicles are tested using crash test dummies modeled after the average male.
Oh, what? Well, like, I don't know why I'm surprised because that's the case in a
Right?
lot of things, like a lot of medical things too. But that is so true. Yeah, you'll
So
never
the
see a crash
cars
test.
are literally built to protect male drivers,
Yeah, you'll
but
never
they
see a
don't
crash test dummy with like double D's, you know, or
so
boobs
there
in
are very
general.
few. Yeah, she continues on. There's very few uh, average female crash test dummies available. Some have emerged in the recent years, despite women bodies reacting very differently than men's when collision occur.
That's crazy. I feel like if anyone that's listening wants to become a car maker, you should definitely now start marketing cars towards like women, you know? That would
Right.
be such a good market to tap into.
Well,
You know,
hold that thought though,
oh,
because
it's been done.
no, it has. Well, maybe I don't know. I didn't look into that,
We'll save that for
but
KSL episode part two.
but it's not just the men in the industry that are the problems. It's also the men buying cars,
Mhm.
right? So again, in Nicole Roach's word, many men see their vehicle as an extension of themselves and seek to present a strong image, as explained by Marshall Sean in the New York Times. What men want, whether we admit it or not, are rolling advertisements of ourselves, and the chief difficulty is choosing the right billboard. So this drives many men to choose vehicle that presents a strong image, opting for a vehicle that demonstrate wealth, power, speed, size, dominance. So both to impress other men and to attract women. This leads to the increased consumption demand for sports car, muscle cars, and large truck, with light duty trucks making up 80% of new vehicle sales in Canada.
Oh, wow.
So pickup trucks and light, how they call it, light duty trucks, 80% of new sales in Canada. Understandably, some people require those trucks for work, but this segment of truck drivers likely does not account for the majority of truck owners. The increased size of vehicle on our roads has also contributed to Canadian driving some of the most dangerous and most polluting vehicles in the world.
Oh, wow. You know what? I believe it because, like, when I first met my husband, his favorite car was a F-150, which is a truck. And he's like, "Yeah, I want one." And I was like, "Why would you need that? Like, his profession doesn't require that, you know?"
Mhm.
But yeah, like, guys love big cars, I guess.
Exactly. And like when it says, like, demonstrate wealth, power, speed, size, and dominance, well, the Kia Soul doesn't demonstrate any of those. Right? It's like some cars are like the Mini Cooper, for example, like are cute and successful, but they're expensive and luxurious.
Mhm.
So they demonstrate wealth, right? But the Kia Soul is very affordable,
Yeah.
right? So when you see a car that doesn't even try to follow the industry trends, and that markets itself purposely as like cute and cheeky and trendy, it's not surprising that some bros might feel a bit threatened by the concept, right? So
Totally.
it's like not only they're no longer the target audience, but it goes against everything they pride themselves as in drivers.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you could almost equate it to like, I was thinking it reminded me a lot of like, remember like the whole metrosexual um, trend when like in the early 2000 when like guys started like, I guess it was beyond how they dress, but mostly dressing more metrosexual, right?
Yeah. I remember
Um,
that too. We would always just like, "Oh, he's metro." And I'm like, now, like, we never say that.
no, we don't
He's
say
just a
that.
guy that's well dressed, you know?
Yeah. But do you remember like the pushback that had and the bullying that caused? Because basically it's like that can't be right because I won't allow it for myself,
Mhm.
so I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the sense I get with the Kia Soul also. Is
I
like
see it.
that's that's someone who doesn't care about how I perceive them as a male,
Mhm.
and I don't allow that.
Mhm.
Right? That's kind of like that, and just the bandwagon that that comes with toxic
Exactly.
man just hating stuff in general.
Exactly.
So I have one more. I have I found like a car bro commenting on the look of the Kia Soul. One thing that was interesting is that you know as much as like all the blogs that I found were trying hard to avoid mentioning that they hated the Kia Soul solely based on look, they couldn't go around it because it's objectively a good car, right?
Mhm.
So here are 5 reasons to dislike an excerpt from 5 reasons to dislike the Kia Soul by Ted Laternus for the Globe and Mail.
Oh my god.
This had to be one of the ugliest car ever to put rubber to the road. There is almost no design inspiration here. It's just a two boxer with a weakly racked roofline and some body cladding. I'm not expecting state of the art styling in this corner of the market, but this is just too hard on the eyes. It's far too precious. If I want cute, I'll buy a stuffed Ewok or a Fiat 500. The Soul is supposed to be all about functionality. Anything else is just smoke and mirror. In my experience, any car that stresses cuteness is overcompensating for a fundamentally inferior product. And by the way, that was 2 of the 5 reasons to dislike
Oh
the
my
cars.
god.
It's too cute, and I hate it.
Okay, you know what? I feel like, okay, if you look up Cube, it's a Nissan car, That is an ugly car because it's Kia soul shaped, but there's something up with the mirrors in the back where they go like halfway all the way around.
And the trunk also, like, why is it protruding like that? It looks
Exactly.
neodental, like neodental.
So like I feel like the Kia Soul is like an upgraded version of this cube looking car, which is an actual ugly car. So I will go with the fact that the ugly cute it's an yeah, it's an ugly cute car, you know?
Yeah. um, I have one last thing I wanted to tell you about earlier, before we conclude. Have you heard of the Kia Boys?
Yes, I just saw that on Instagram. It was like these guys like drag racing in a parking lot, right? Not drag
Not
racing.
quite. Not quite. It's worse than that. So it's a trend on TikTok. Basically, some kids have discovered flaw in the product design of the Kia. And they found out that all you need to break in and steal a Kia basically is a screwdriver and a USB cord.
No.
And then these kids started stealing cars and posting on TikTok as a TikTok challenge.
Oh my god.
And when
Now
I
I have
say
to be
kids,
scared of steal like people stealing my car?
yeah, I think so, because Kia fixed the issue only in 2022.
No. Not only am I
Yeah.
scared of people burning my car, you steal it?
But Sanya, when I say kids, I mean kids, like really young. One 11-year-old boy in Ohio got caught stealing 2 cars within 1 week.
11?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You're still
yeah.
in a car seat at that point, aren't you?
He brought his own.
You bought his booster seat to
He,
sit in
he
front.
brought he brought out a
You're not even
screwdriver, a
supposed to
USB
sit in the
card.
front.
Yeah. He's got like the wood blocks under the shoes to like
Yeah.
be able to reach the pedals.
That's so funny.
Well, and like these kids driving stolen cars is obviously dangerous also. So there's been drivers, pedestrian, and Kia boys with a Z, by the
Of course.
way.
How else
Kia
would you forget
boys
boys?
that have been killed in accidents while driving recklessly, right? Or
Yeah.
while fleeing from the cops.
Oh my god.
Um, so Kia's response says that they fixed the issue in the 2022 cars, and I think TikTok like banned the challenge.
That's good.
But yeah,
Well, I think we should also
so
talk about like the great features my car has. Like, I have mood lighting. So there's speakers and there's like little like lights around the speakers and they go with the beat. Oh, can we talk about the time you like broke my sunroof?
Oh my god, I did break your sunroof the one time I borrowed your car for like a 10-minute trip.
Yeah, he opened the sunroof when it was like weather just started getting nice. So I hadn't used the sunroof all winter and it got stuck. And that's actually a flaw about Kias. Apparently like the sunroof gets stuck pretty often. But I took it into a dealership and I told them it's stuck. They like greased it for me and it started closing. And they did it for free, which was nice.
Which is nice, and it's a huge sunroof. Like it's
Yeah,
really really big.
I think it's like a sunroof connected to a moonroof. Is that the
Is a
terminology?
moonroof a thing?
Yeah. So
What's a
it's just like
moonroof?
a sunroof is I guess directly above like the passenger and the driver's side, and then a moonroof goes like to the back.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Um,
But
and
yeah,
okay,
no, it's cool.
best part is that I have a heated steering wheel.
That is
Um,
really nice in the winter.
right? Like my parents, they have a nice like I think they have a BMW, and that doesn't even have it. And it gets so hot to the point like it burns my hands sometimes. I have to turn it off. But it is the best feature of my car, along with heated seats.
You're
Um,
so funny. You're so concerned that like I would like just end it without giving a chance to like
okay,
to talk about the great
had to
Kia
get
Soul
it in.
features. But you know what? I actually have those also. Like I actually wrote down some good features also because I also love the car.
Okay.
And like what I like about like you said, like the add-ons, like the Android Auto, and I think the mood lighting and the steering wheel. A lot of these add-ons are on the basic model. Like you don't
Mhm.
even have to pay extra for them; they come with it.
Yeah.
It's also very spacious interior.
Mhm.
I think tall people love the Kia Soul because tall people fit really nicely in the Kia Soul,
Yeah.
right? It's cheap. It has great gas mileage apparently.
Yeah, it
Um,
does, yeah.
4-wheel drive for a car that cheap. That's good. That's great. And like also good visibility. You can see really really well from the driver's seat everywhere, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah, I feel like my yeah, it has those, blind spot indicators, so, I really enjoy driving it, and,
Yeah.
I don't like very low cars, so it's, a little high too in that sense.
Yeah.
But
So
I think, low cars are cooler, so maybe that's not a selling point.
I mean, I like low cars because it feels like driving a go kart. It really feels like fun for me
That's a
driving a
funny
go
way to
kart.
put it. But yeah, I
But
guess you're right.
it is like a pain to get in and out of, especially at my advanced years.
Your knees.
So yeah, how do you feel about your car now?
You know what? It's so funny because you're talking about how it's toxic masculinity that hates Kia Souls. But I'm like, you know what? That girl, it's a girl's Instagram that has that Kia Soul hate page, and that girl that we heard talking shit about my car at work was also a girl. So I feel like it's like a car hated mutually by both genders. And you know what?
I think it is a bit of a bandwagon movement also.
Yeah, but I always like to, stand out a little bit. So my car is weird, so am I. I'll take it.
Oh no, stop looking at me. I don't like the attention. Please stop talking about my car.
I'm gonna make a Kia Soul love page.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, going through it was hard to find anything that was relevant that's not just about people not liking the way it looks. And
Hmm.
that feels very subjective, but also feels like very immature to me.
Hmm.
So I don't think it deserves the hate that it gets. But, you know, to each their own. Um, as you can see, like there's a lot that plays into it, and it's much more complex than just people hate the Kia Soul.
Yeah,
Um, but I think overall you can keep it. You don't have to throw it out.
yeah, and I won't. No, I am my goal car or my dream car, I guess, is like a Jeep, which also sucks. I think our next episode should be what's the hype about Jeeps?
I
'Cause,
mean,
we
oh,
rented
that's
one
a.
in Hawaii, and they're not great cars, unless, I guess you get a better, model or something.
But they look cool. Like we're going back to that toxic masculinity thing. Like, oh, there's such a display of like, oh, I ride in the mud all the time, kind of thing.
Yeah, true.
But I hate driving them. Like I went camping, we rented a car, and we had they upgraded us to a Jeep for like no reason.
Mhm.
The bugs in the windshield nonstop. That windshield catches all the bugs.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to us in Hawaii too.
Hmm.
Um,
Anyhow, um, that was the Kia Soul. How was that? Was that interesting to you?
yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I feel like we got a little history lesson about cars there too, and then just of I guess, a new conversation topic with people about my car. I'm like, "Hey, did you know there's a hate page for my car?"
Yeah.
'Cause I already double down when people ask me what car I have, I'll just or, I'm, picking someone up or anything, I'll just be like, "Oh my god, I have this, ugly car, it's a Kia Soul," and they're like, "Oh, it's not that bad." I'm like, "Okay, good."
Yeah, and now you can accuse them of like internalized toxic patriarchy.
Yeah, and I'm totally gonna unfollow this girl that
There you
also
go.
follows the Kia Soul hate page. I'm
Now
trying to
that we're
think if
done with
she's
this
ever
episode,
seen
I
my car.
promise to unfollow the page.
Yeah, you better.
All
I just
right.
can't get away with can't get over the fact this girl's has merch about hating this car, but she actually has no real passion about the car hate. It's
Right?
not like she ever got hit by a Kia Soul and she started this page.
No, and she can't even say why she hates it, which was the most interesting thing to me. But
Yeah.
that being said, um, So next week you're gonna teach me about something. Are we doing a little teaser? Are you like hinting at something, or is it a secret?
I know, I was like, "Oh, should we do a little sneak peek?" But I don't even know what to sneak peek,
All
you
right, so
know?
we're keeping it a secret.
I think people just be ready for, one of the biggest trends this year. I'm joking, it's not the biggest trend this year, it's the biggest trend in my life.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Well, I'm excited to sit back and relax and not have to do any research and just listen.
yeah. I
And
am I'm looking forward to educating you on this topic.
thank you. Well, in that case, I'll see you next week.
Well, thank you for listening. See you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Tell Me Like I'm Stupid is created and produced by us, Saniya and Thomas. You can follow us on Instagram at Tell Me Like I'm Stupid.
If you'd like to support us, please subscribe and review on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Our cover art was created by Ish. Find him on Instagram at h.e.e.s.h.
Thank you for listening.